Now, I've been giving some thought to the collector's edition Magic the Gathering cards. Now, they're actually something I don't have a lot of at all. Like, I haven't really been collecting them. They weren't something that I desired as a collector and player, though I do admit they're great in place of proxies, not just because, you know, they're actually made by Wizards of the Coast, but they're very, very valuable and a lot more scarce than most people would have believed previously. Now, there's a reason why they're scarce. Well, one, it's because the print run numbers are released for these sets. The International Collector's Edition has 1.5 million cards printed, and the Collector's Edition has 3 million cards printed. Now, there's 363 cards in each box, so if you want to find a number for that, you divide 1.5 million by 363 cards, and you'd get the number for the International Collector's Edition, and the same thing for the Collector's Edition. Now, that will give you around a little over 8,000 cards. Now, 8,000 for each of the cards that were printed, so 8,000 Black Lotuses, 8,000 Moxes, 8,000, dual lands of each card in the Collector Edition Magic the Gathering set. Now, for the International Collector's Edition, you get a little over 4,000 of each card, making that incredibly rare. Now, something to really think about when you want to really get your mind into the right place when you're thinking about the scarcity of each of these sets is it was very common. If you watch a lot of Rudy's videos, you'll see the amount of times that a lot of these cards were destroyed or damaged, to try to represent a beta card or an alpha card. They would cut the corners, get an alpha card, stick the card on the front of the card back, and then, obviously you can find the difference between them if you peel the back and you see it looks like two cards were kind of pasted on each other, and that's exactly what people were doing for the longest time because they wanted to try to pass these cards off as alpha cards or beta cards. Now, we don't know how many people have done that. There's no numbers out there, but you can obviously think about it and make up your own mind as to how many people you think were probably doing that. I think it was a lot more than most people would believe. I think that a lot of these sets were completely damaged. Now, there's not too many of these sets sealed left in the wild, and just to think about the sheer scarcity of the amount of these sets. You're talking a little over 8,000 of these sets were printed for the Collector's Edition, and a little over 4,000 printed for the International Collector's Edition. That is incredibly scarce. Now, beta, there is only 3,000 cards printed for each beta rare, and for alpha, it's 1,100. Now, you're talking about Moxes and Black Lotuses, so you're looking at 1,100 Black Lotuses are printed in alpha. Now, there's just a little over 4,000 printed in the International Collector Edition. Now, I know that they don't look exactly the same. They're not tournament legal, but it's not like there's a lot of people bringing out Black Lotuses to play at tournaments because it's just very scarce. And, I personally, if I owned a Black Lotus, which I don't, I probably wouldn't be putting in a commander deck to play. I'd be very scared to get any sort of damage or even play on that card. And I'm sure a lot of people had no idea of how scarce and rare these cards actually are. Now, yes, they are a lot more expensive, especially after 2020 when we saw a lot of spikes like the reserve list buyouts and just a lot of collectibles in general, including Pokemon, went up in value. But a lot of the International Collector and Collector Edition cards have went up as well. So it kind of brings me back to right before the pandemic, one of my LGSs that I shop at, one of the employees there were talking about how they bought a Black Lotus. It's the only Black Lotus they have, and they bought it from the Collector's Edition, and it was like a few $100 a few years ago, and they're happy that now they at least own one Black Lotus. Now, I don't see that employee there anymore, but it makes me wonder, how many of these Collector's Edition cards did he have? He said he did buy the Black Lotus because he thought it was undervalued at the time, and obviously the market does think the same way now, because if you look at the price of the International Collector's Edition Black Lotus, it is up there. Not as expensive as the Unlimited Black Lotus, but if you think about it, if you really think about it, maybe it should be around the same value as the Unlimited Black Lotus. I mean, it doesn't have the same card back, but it's very scarce. It's a lot more rare. So one of those things that you have to think about or consider when it comes to the older Magic the Gathering sets, especially when people are looking for any way to get into a Power 9 card. You know, like I don't own any Power cards, but at this rate, at how, you know, looking at how expensive Alpha powers are, Beta powers, even Unlimited powers, I would probably look into getting a collector's edition version of it just to say I have a Power card. But how long will it last? How long will these prices stay this low, considering how rare these cards really are? And I hope you guys give it some thought right now, because it's something that I am addressing now, because one of my latest comments on one of my Mark Mover videos is addressing the collector's edition cards, and I thought, yeah, you know what? It's been a while since I've done one of these kind of free-form speeches just talking about a rant about Magic the Gathering and just certain sets and certain collectible cards, and I thought that's something that I would go over. Let me know, though, down in the comment section, do you own any collector's edition cards? And if so, which ones? Is it international or the regular collector's edition cards? I'd be curious to know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Being a patron will help me produce more market movers and add to the funds that I will use for my random buys, and also to my coffee fund, because I drink a lot of coffee for these videos. And here you can see a link below in the description that will give you all the tiers and what you get in each tier. So I hope you guys click and think about joining. And with that, I'll see you next video. Think about supporting the channel in that way. If not, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I will see you again in the next video.